Fam, thank you for choosing to watch this episode of Mind the Mic podcast. Before we get into it, though, I need you to hit subscribe. And not just me, the whole Mind the Mic podcast family needs you to. Maddie, Uncle Pete, Stu, Lekka, and of course myself, Shubz, and anybody else that's on board by the time you watch this video, we need you to hit subscribe. If it's your first time here, I understand if you're a bit reserved and you're like, I don't know, watch the video and after subscribe if you want to. But if you're here and you're watching all the time, subscribe. It's not that hard. All you got to do is, if you're watching on your TV, you're like, I can't subscribe, I don't have an account. You have a phone, don't you? I know you have a phone in your hand right now. Grab the phone, create a YouTube account. It takes a couple minutes, and then you can subscribe. And when you do that too, hit the notification bell so you can get notified every time we put up a new episode. I asked this of you because we put in so much time. We've done hundreds of episodes. We plan on doing thousands more with as many amazing people as we can. But we need you to subscribe, fam. Big love to everybody that's been watching. Big love to everybody that's been supporting and anybody that's just arrived. I hope you enjoy the journey, enjoy the episode, and subscribe. Hey, welcome back to another Mind the Mic podcast. I'm your host, Shubz, here with a very special guest, a different one too, an interesting human being, a gladiator, a ninja warrior, an all-out weapon. Tatyanna Dumas, what's good, sis? How are you?
Hey, babe, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, can't complain. Another day. We're breathing, we're living. Grateful always. Hold on, I don't even know if this recorded. Hold on, I'm gonna have to restart that. Oh my god. Bro, that was on intro. I thought.
Hey, but it is recording. It is recording. It says in the
No. But yeah, no, it is. But it started like after I started talking. So I'm gonna do it again. All right, just
all right, but
all right. I don't usually do it again, but I might as well.
Wait, yeah. How many times have you done this before?
Oh, yeah, like 280 odd times.
Oh yeah. I guess 10,000 reps, right? 10,000 reps.
Yeah, that's it. 10,000 hours, baby. Let's go. All right, let's restart. Hey.
All right, bet.
Hey. Nah, who cares? Let's go. They heard who you are. Let's do it. Let's keep going. Who cares, man? They can get that too. I'll leave that on just so they can see it. 10,000 reps. But yeah, we're here. Tatyanna Dumas. For the people that don't know much about you, can you give us a little background on yourself?
Yes, so most would know me as Australia's youngest Ninja Warrior.
Yes.
And most recently, I would be called Comet for the Australian Gladiators on Channel 10. So just a bit about me with regards to TV experience. My background is in basketball. I've traveled the world playing doing what I love, playing basketball. And I've also been in the modeling industry for the last nearly a decade. So 8 years. Started off at 16, being in front of the camera, being a model. Then we transitioned to acting more recently. It's about maybe a year and a half. And we've been extremely successful there, representing brands such as, Gatorade, Rebel Sport, Under Armour. We've done a lot. So yeah, just a bit of a rundown on me.
Yeah, solid. But outside of that, though, like, can you take us back to a young Tatyanna? Like, where does young Tatyanna come from? We'll get into all of that, of course. But where did you come from?
Yeah,
as a child, where were you born? What parents did you have? What's the flavors? Siblings?
Yeah. Sure. So I come from a single parent home. I grew up in Sydney, Australia. To be more specific, I grew up in Waterloo. For those who don't know, it's Redfern, near Redfern. So my mom is the reason why I am the person I am today. I have two siblings, a brother and a sister, younger, and both athletically gifted like myself in rugby, and can both play quite well in basketball too. So a little bit there. I came from 2017, so we rep that proud.
That's good.
And young Tatyanna grew up, as you would call it, in the hood. In the Australian version of the hood. So yeah.
Was that where Spaniards from? Waterloo or around there? Around there somewhere?
Yeah. One of our stars.
Yeah, you in Spaniard? Hey, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's the flavor? What flavor are the parents like? What ethnic background? Obviously, you said single parent. You grew up in a single parent home,
Mm,
but what
I did.
do you know the flavor? What
So
your father was, or
yeah. So I know who my dad is.
okay?
Let's clarify that. I know who he is.
Yeah,
He
you know who
didn't
he
he
is.
didn't go get milk. I know who he is.
Oh, okay, you
Um,
know who he is. Okay, yes, yes. You just raised with your mum. Yeah, I get it.
yeah. So to give a bit of background, my mom is from Argentina, Buenos Aires to be specific. My dad
Oh,
is from the US, and I was born here. So my dad's from OKC. And I mean, he ran and got milk for a little while,
yeah.
but I met him when I was 9. So,
Yeah.
you know, we've had a relationship there all the way. I'm 25 now. So, you know, like I
Does
said,
she,
my mom is my world, but yeah.
so your mum, how old is she when she comes out here to Australia?
My mom was like 102, so she was
Oh,
quite
okay,
young.
she's Aussie. Hey,
Yeah,
she
yeah,
Aussie.
she's technically Aussie.
Mm,
But you grew up in a South American household, so
yeah, of course.
the mannerisms are not very Aussie, nor
Mm,
is the cultural element of that household. But yeah, she's pretty much Aussie. She doesn't look it though.
yeah. So did you grow up speaking Spanish or?
So in my household, yeah, my mom speaks Spanish to me.
Mm.
Out of the three of us, I'm probably the most fluent. So I speak a little bit, but I'm more of a fluent understander. So if you talk to me, I understand what you're talking about.
Oh, I
And
get what you mean.
I'm half
Yeah.
English, half Spanish. Growing up, it wasn't cool to speak Spanish at school. Everyone wanted to be like learning English and things like that. And I was just like, okay, cool, because what was encouraged was talk to the kids at school. You know what I mean? That can talk Spanish, and they weren't a fan of that. So
Oh, true. The ones that could speak Spanish went down. Huh?
yeah, no, they were like, just speak English. It's easier. It's better. Everyone understands you. And I was like,
Mm,
that this is our culture.
mm,
Why would you not want to talk and teach me while we're at school? Lunchtime, or while we're mucking around in class or something.
mm.
That wait a minute, Comet was a good good student. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, it was just really, I found that really odd growing up. I went to Spanish school. Just wasn't a fan of the way it
Spanish
was
school.
taught.
What is that?
Yeah, so it's just like there's a school in Ashfield which I used to go to, and everybody in the class is learning Spanish at the time, and there's a fluent teacher, of course, and basically everything from the moment you walk in the door, it's Spanish. From like there's no English spoken, so you need to pick it up quickly, and I just wasn't a fan of the way it was taught. And then,
Mm,
later on when I was 14, I traveled to Argentina, got to meet my family, and I picked up
oh,
words quicker than quick as light, if I would be frank with you. So I think for me personally, it's more of an experience thing. Traveling the world is what I've been doing since I was 9. So
yeah.
going there and being immersed in that kind of forces you to learn quicker, which is great for someone like me.
Yes.
Throw me in the deep end, see if I can swim. That's the type of person
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah. Shark or a dolphin, though.
Well, I mean, dolphins, come on now. Dolphins can take out sharks. So let's be real here. Far more
It's true.
intelligent, and
Yeah.
they
People don't
have.
people don't be catching dolphins either. Like people be reeling in sharks and that on their lines. They don't be reeling in dolphins. Dolphins be too smart for that.
Yeah,
Huh?
exactly. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. Dolphins are far more aggressive too. So let's be real here.
Oh,
I'd
Comet.
rather be a
Comet the
dolphin.
Gladiator. Okay. What kind of music were you listening to in the home at the time when you were growing up?
For me, it was hip hop and R&B
Yeah.
with a mix of reggae, and of course, my grandfather actually brought in classical music. So I
Ooh.
was listening to a lot of Beethoven and Mozart, and it's kind of what I listen to when I'm in the gym or I'm chilling sometimes.
Really?
But
Like when you're
yeah,
doing what in the gym? What are you
like
doing in the
when
gym?
I can be bench pressing heavy, and like I'll be listening to
Wow.
Beethoven, just each note
Bro.
kind of.
My sister's gonna love this. She loves that stuff.
I
She loves
genuinely
classical
have a
music.
love
Like,
for it.
wow.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Some of my playlist is classical music, in my gym playlist anyway.
Yeah. What else makes
Yeah.
it in the gym playlist?
Oh, most recently I've allowed my audience to see another side of me,
Okay.
with regards to incorporating my my love for metal. So
Yeah,
that
yeah,
really
yeah.
is in my
I've been watching
playlist.
some of that stuff. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, metal's more my thing right now. Bring Me the Horizon, Sleep Toker, and they're probably my two favorites. And it's a mixed bag, honestly, because one moment you'll be like hitting Trey songs, and then the next minute it'll be Beethoven to like Sleep Toker. And so it just varies. It depends on how I'm feeling. If it's an off day, we might hit some love songs and just something slow and push heavyweight and just be upset. But it depends. It depends. If I'm feeling good, I'm looking good, I have a nice pump. We're pumping that metal and like hitting Beethoven a little bit.
It's good. I like the broad range of music you have in your playlist. It's like I think I've got a broad range, and then I hear this, I'm like, nah.
Look, I'm willing to listen to anything, but
Ooh,
country.
what?
I can't do country. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. So nah,
I can't work out to country.
Like
No,
nothing?
I really find it hard to just sit there and really immerse in it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I've never been able to do it. I would rather listen to like, I don't know, heavy metal with all the like I can't for some reason. Just
all your country music fans are like crying right now. They can't believe you.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
what the hell?
Like the new Beyonce album, the country one, I didn't even listen to it. I listened to like
True, and you love Beyonce, right?
I love Beyonce. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. But I just one song and I went, this is not it. Girl, you just hitting another market I can't understand.
Okay. But you like what you like. It's so good. It's so good.
I mean, I'm open to it, but it's not on my playlist. You know what I mean?
I'm not that open. Not to that.
Fair enough.
Go Beyonce. Give me if you could only listen to one Beyonce song for the rest of your life, what do you go to?
Oof.
You gotta eliminate every single Beyonce song besides this one.
I mean, I probably Alien Superstar.
Ooh. Can we get a couple bars from Tatyanna Dumas or
hell no? I'm not. You just put Beyonce. No, we're not doing Beyonce Tatyanna. Absolutely not.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I can listen to that at any point in time, especially when you're like you're not feeling right. You know what I mean? In the head, you're doubting yourself all the time. It just brings you back up. It's like you remember who you are. You know what I mean? Who you are. But yeah, maybe that one off the top of my head.
Off the top, yeah, it's relative to right now in this moment. Obviously. Yeah. Tomorrow might be different. I get it. you said that you started traveling the world at night, and like what? Obviously, your basketball or what? Like what were your reasonings for traveling the world, and where did you go to? I guess.
Yeah. So of course, like as I mentioned earlier, I got to meet my dad at 9, so that started the traveling the world thing. I basically did that once or twice a year. My mom did the impossible, honestly, and sent me each year and all over the States, to be frank with you, until I was 14. Then I traveled to Hawaii by myself to do a basketball tournament. So my first solo trip was at 14. And then from there, it just kind of just sparked a travel bug, if I'll be frank with you. I think the years that I didn't travel was probably, of course, COVID. So I just turned 21 and 20. So half from 20, 21. And then I went back to flying at 22. And probably the only other years in my younger years was 15 and 19. Every other year I was traveling once or twice a year. And
like same again though, the States, or where you going? Where else?
Yeah, so I traveled a majority of the States from the age of 9 all the way until probably 19. And so that decade in the States, just jumping around, enjoying it with my mom.
Is that where some of the accent comes from? Obviously your dad's from there as well, but like spending quite a bit of time, because you got like I hear like different inflections, different accents.
It's a weird
through.
One.
Hey, no judgment either. You do you.
No.
Your journey, man. I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah, probably. I travel the world a fair bit, but from 20. Oh, sorry. Yeah, from the end of that year of 19, heading towards 20, all the way to 22 was kind of Europe, and we did a bit of Tokyo, which I absolutely loved. And then we went back to the States, and yeah, I think we're going back to the States this year.
Mm,
And yeah, I think just the way that the United States is really suits me as a
okay.
person,
In
the
what
way
way?
that I am. And it is dog eat dog there. And,
Hmm.
a lot of places a lot of countries be like, oh, it's like that here. It's like, nah. If you can make it somewhere in like New York, you can make it anywhere. But then
Really?
again, there's the flip side nowadays, because you can say to people, if you can make it in Australia, you can make it anywhere. Because look, it is crazy how expensive it is here. On top of like the way that we have this tall poppy syndrome crap that we've had since like beginning of time, if I'll be frank with you. So yeah, I guess it varies depending on who you are, but in the States, New York's one of my favorite places. I'm a dog. I'm a dog at heart, and I just won't take no for an answer. I will find a way to make it a yes, and that's how they are there.
Mm.
It's they're quick. They move. They want something. They go get it. They don't care, and that's kind of the way that I am. And here it's a little bit slower.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
way slower. Let's be honest.
what I
It's
mean.
way
It's like,
slower.
oh, we may book you in. We may just wait a week. In New York, it's like, all right, we want you. Cool. Sign this. Boom. Next week you're in.
Yeah.
We'll run you through the bang, 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 bang. You know what I mean?
You down or
I
not? Because we're on to the next one if you're
yeah,
not.
yeah, exactly. We can replace you. Keep that in
Yeah,
mind. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
that's
That's
it.
how they are. Here it's like, oh, we'll keep you waiting. We'll put you on a wait list. It's like, what?
Mm,
What? So yeah, New York, the States, the hustle of the States is
yeah.
where I thrive and where I fit. A lot of people think I'm too blunt, but it's like, I'm direct. This is what I want. This is how I'm going to get it. I'm going to tell you honestly what I think about this. Bang, 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 bang. Move on. Can we do this? Can we not do this? Are you available now? Yes. Cool. Bang. Next thing.
Mm.
That's just the way that they are there. And there's so many people there, and everybody's trying to do that 1% and make it. You know what I mean? Whether it's in sport, whether it's in movies, whatever it might be, it's just the way it is there. And I honestly love every bit of that. But yeah.
Do you see yourself there in the future? Or is that part of the goal soon to go there and just slay it up over there soon? Or
Yeah, without giving you too much,
yeah, no,
I
not
will
too
be
much, not too
there
much.
in I will probably be there in less than 2 months.
Probably,
So
yeah, maybe.
not probably.
No,
I know.
no,
No, I
no, oh,
will
yeah,
be.
yeah, okay, okay. We can
I
we
just
can have
said
that much at
probably.
least. We can have that much at
I
least.
know. I will be
Yeah.
there in 2 months. It's actually probably less, if I were to be frank with you, but of course we're just adding in a few buffers here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But 2 months at like max. Max.
Mm,
I'm going back, and the next part of my journey is going to be one that is probably going to shock a lot of
okay.
Australia. So, we're out here to shock the world, but I think Australia is going to be more shocked with what Comet has done with her image thus far.
Yeah, the Comet. Is Comet still shooting hoops like hard out or what?
Look, Comet has been pulled away from hoops a little bit.
Mhm.
The entertainment industry has, you know, made his calling, and
Oh,
basketball here in Australia doesn't love me as much, and
yeah.
that's unfortunate. But Comet shoots hoops here and there. Don't get me wrong, I still collect your ankles. Like, don't get it twisted.
Do you
We
reckon
just we
Caitlin Clark can get some or what? Surely, eh?
oof. Okay, we talking about Caitlin Clark here, who lives and breathes. I mean, I would be no. Let me tell you something. Let me say something about me. You can put Michael Jordan in front of me, and I'm still going 120%. I don't care who the
Mm.
hell it is. So if you said Caitlin Clark's pulling up tomorrow, you down? I'm like, let me get my shoes on. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I'm
Well, let's
stepping
just
up.
see this
When
for
you step
content.
forward, I'm
That'll be dope.
stepping up.
Yeah, let's just see that for content. Yeah, Comet
Hey,
versus Caitlin Clark. Let's go, baby.
I would love it. I would honestly love it, because she's a dog too. I mean, she
Yeah,
goes
100.
hard. She goes in. And I love people like that. People like her are so rare. And yeah, to find someone that would be able to match me like that,
Mm.
I'm down any day of the week. She doesn't even, I mean, she definitely doesn't know who I am, but it doesn't matter. I know who she is. And
Yeah,
like,
but if somehow
I'm
she hears
down.
this, man, it's on. Nah.
It's on 100%. Time
That's
and place. I'll fly there.
time and place. Yeah, yeah. How do you think? I don't know if you keep up too much, but how do you think Australia will go in the Olympics? The men's.
In the men's, I'm not. I honestly, I haven't been following the men's too much. A few of
Oh,
my
okay.
friends are in the women's, so I think the women have a
Yeah,
good
yeah.
shot.
Oh,
Honestly,
yeah. Let's
you've
go
got
the
some
girls.
amazing guards
Have they got
there.
some dubs
Yeah.
though, the women's before? Surely, eh?
I
Or
think
close.
bronze was the last one. I think.
Well, that's better than
I
Australia men's have
think.
got, I think. So, yeah.
I think that was the last one. I probably stand corrected, but yeah, I think the women have a good shot. They've always got a phenomenal team.
Yeah.
You know, a former teammate of mine, Shyla Hill's on the team. Lauren Jackson's there, so that's already those are pretty good
Gunslingers.
players.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Solid.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
phenomenal players.
What sort of pulled you away from the hoops? Was it the entertainment industry, or like what was the biggest thing that pulled you away, or did you just lose the passion, or you still got the love for the game
No,
that you had?
no,
No, no,
no, no, no,
never.
no, no. Basketball will never leave, no matter where I go. It'll always be a part of me. It's the reason why everything started the way it started. And basketball first started as an outlet. I grew up in Waterloo, so basketball was a way of keeping me out of trouble. Not that I was ever a kid that was ever in trouble or a kid looking for trouble. It just kept me distracted from everything that surrounded me. So basketball is how they say ball is life. That literally is, and like was for a long time in my life. I think what happens is you find other talents within yourself, and you happen to be just as good at
Mm.
that than what you started off with. And I've always said to my mom, I was like, if basketball can open doors for me, great. I mean, whether it be in college or the goal was WNBA, and I was willing to do anything for that.
Okay.
But the thing is, the entertainment industry also was calling, and Comet
Mm.
just happens to be really good at being an entertainer.
I believe
The
it.
the footage,
Wow.
the footage of my games, even I'm out there hyping the crowd, being like, what I mean, like
Mm.
I'm. That's just me. That's always been me naturally, an entertainer. And what's kind of just pulled me away is actually the demand of the entertainment industry and what's coming up. You know, it's a demand, and like everything, there's politics in everything that you do. It
Oh,
just
of course, yes.
happens. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But for me, politics played a massive part in why basketball has come to a halt. It's not that I can't play. It is not that I can't play. You know, and there'd be people that just say that, but it's like, no, 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 no. Any day of the week, we can still put on shoes and play.
Mm.
But politically, it was a lot for me. And Comet is not everyone's favorite because of how intense she is, how, as we would say here in Australia, aggressive, and in the States I get assertive, or I get in Europe passionate. So Australia
Passionate.
has a different way of viewing my style of play.
Mm.
But I decided to take a step back and really look at my talent, and the entertainment industry was like, come here, come here. And I was like, oh, really? But what about basketball? It's the love of my life. And sometimes
Mm.
you just got to let it go and see where it takes you. Basketball has opened up a lot of doors for me. Even in the, modeling industry, it helped me transition from being just a model to a commercial model where, I filmed commercials for all over the world. And just right now, it's not my, the center of my universe. The entertainment industry is giving more and being more accepting of the person that I am, the passion that comes with it, how aggressive I am about going for things. And, I just happen to be really good on a mic as well. I think
Yeah.
I've got to I've got to really take my hat off to my siblings for keeping me quick on my feet, and, my family just in general, being able to, talk shit and have me handle that and give it back. So yeah, it's not that I let it go. It's just that there was another calling, and it was stronger, and it
Mm.
was more accepting of the person that I am and who I'm looking to be for the rest of the world.
Yeah, hey, fair enough. That's what it is. Entertainment industry. Here she comes. Oh, here she is. She's already here anyway. But yeah, let's go get us. Go get it. I look forward to seeing you crack it and whatever it is that you're about to do in less than 2 months and beyond that. Whether it's movies, video games, whatever it is. Go get it. Go kill it.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to circle back, because when the announcement comes out, you're gonna be like, no way.
Yeah, hard. You're gonna,
I'm dropping hints here and there. I'm dropping hints here and
yeah,
there. I'm
hard.
not gonna lie.
No, but I can't wait to see it. I
Um,
can't wait to see whatever it is. Just go get it. Like, you know, I'm all about that, about people, you know, chasing whatever it is they believe that they, you know, that they deserve or that they want. You know what I mean? People creating what they deserve. You know what I mean? So go
yeah.
get it, man. What you can achieve is only
Thank you.
limited by the scope of your ambition and what you're willing to put
Oh,
into it. So go get
oh.
there. Go kill it. Go shred it.
Anyone that knows me knows I aim beyond the stars. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's it. Beyond.
we come for everything. We come for everything.
Everything, exactly. You spoke about modeling, and then we didn't really touch on it. Can you tell us much about like what that was like, how it started, how that began? You said basketball.
Yeah. Excuse me. So
All good.
modeling started at 16, and you know that was the beginning of a slight shift to my career. I think that's the first time I started to look outside of just being a basketball player, because that's something that I couldn't live by, being just known as an athlete of just a basketball player, you know, shut up and dribble, that type of thing. That
Yep.
really, you know, irked me. And it's funny because the first commercial I ever got was, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks after signing with an agency. And at the time it was a family friend, and it was for McDonald's. And I was absolutely atrocious on my first job. I couldn't act. I couldn't take proper direction due to nerves. I could not be what they wanted me to be. And it was such a simple role. And it literally will never leave me, because it reminds me of how like incompetent I was at the beginning, and how to never be at that point again. You know what I mean? Don't ever let your guard be that low again that you look like an idiot and you don't know what you're doing and you're not a professional at what you do. And you know, most people are like, you're 16, your first job. It's like, yeah, but I'm a perfectionist, and I like, my standards, my expectations are very high for myself. You know, I should have done a bit more research or something before going in, but I didn't. Yeah, so it started off with, you know, I tried the commercial thing at the beginning. You know, they weren't too fond of the first job, so it kind of shifted a little bit. You know, Rebel Sport picked me up. And then, you know, there were some other companies that were like, you have the look, can we have you for commercial? You know, and then we start to get the hang of things, understanding our movements and how our body looks and things like that, and what happens when we do this or look this way. And, you know, that took a lot of time, but we eventually got it. And we've been extremely successful for the last 8 years. Yeah, that I hope that kind of answers your question a little bit. It's a bit different in the industry, because you know what, I had this debate with myself, this kind of internal fight, if you will, because you know, most of the stuff you see on social media is full of all these really tall, slim models, and like when you looked at me, you were like, muscle, 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 muscle. You're too big. You're too short. You too this and that. So between like, you know, the first few years in the modeling, I really struggled to understand where my place was in the industry, you know, and really accept who I was. As weird as that may sound, I've always been quite a like muscular kid, and by that point, you should probably accept who you are, but I didn't. And so I had a lot of internal conflict with my placing, and eventually it kind of settled. It was like, yeah, I am the strong girl in the industry. I am that sports model. I can do what they can't do, and that's what sets me apart, and that's why I'm booked for what I'm booked for.
That's why you're here.
And yeah, and it took me a long time to really accept that, being like, man, if I was just a little bit taller, if I just lost weight, you know what I mean, like. And I even went through a phase of doing that.
That's just real in that industry. Like people, you know.
Yeah, you know, you don't, you go, oh, that will never be me. And like for someone like me with such a strong mindset, you're like, you went through that. It's like, yeah, I went to a point that I dropped my weight to 57 kilos, right? Keep in mind that for a build like me is just not, it's not healthy. And I got sick. I literally got sick. my skin color changed. Like I was barely like functional at all. And I vowed to never ever let myself get to that state again. Never allow the industry to, mess with your head in that sense. It's like there are other models that can do that. You don't need to do that. But it was the praise and the recognition that they got over me that was really just kind of eating at me. And like the thing is, not all sports models are like good at what they do. So they're going to pick the best. And so you're only going to see the best. And that's the pool I was sitting in. There is, unfortunately, and this may sound rude, but there's so many of these econ models or like these tall, slim models that they're just like coat hangers. Well, we're not. You know what I mean? You're this muscular female that can jump and run and do this stuff. And it took me ages to accept that. And I know it's weird, but yeah, I don't know. You go through this
do
weird.
you remember the point where where you just told yourself like that's enough of feeling all this bullshit and like, you know what I mean, and like towing the line or trying to fit in, like let's just be happy with who the fuck we are and let's build on that. Do you remember the exact moment? Or
Yeah, when I tried to drop weight, it was an experiment. And I just said to my mom, look, I'm just going to drop weight and see how small I can get. In my head, I was like,
yeah.
I need to be as small as possible. You know what I mean? 5'7", 5'7's not too short, but it'll be fine. Anyway, that point in time, when it was that week, I checked my weight and I dropped to 57. And the feeling was just unbearable. And I just like looked at myself and like I was like, this is enough, man. This is enough. You need to accept who you are. You're getting sick, and you're getting so sick that your mom is starting to notice. Like, I kid you not, had it lasted an extra 2 weeks, I probably would have been in hospital.
Wow.
Because I wasn't eating. Like I was literally, when my mom was there, I was like, little bits and pieces just to show her that I was eating. She's an ethnic mom. Eating is a part of the process.
We know this.
You know what I mean?
I'm
And so,
Maori, cuz.
yeah. Well,
We know
my
this.
siblings are half Fiji and Chinese Tongan. So, I
Oh,
grew
there
up
you go.
around that
Yeah.
too.
Polly's. Yeah, we know what
Yeah,
it is.
you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And they love to eat. So when I was around her, I'd be eating, and then when I was at school or I was out at jobs, I wouldn't be eating. And she, I'm a person that doesn't like to wear clothes, as you can see from my social media. And, I would walk around my house in a sports bra and like underwear, or like sports bra and like small shorts or something. And mom would be like, oh, you're slim. Like you look unhealthy. Like what's wrong? And I'm
What
like,
age
no.
was this? How long ago was this?
Yes, it was probably, I think I finally just gave up around, I went through it from 17 to 18. I had noticed and my mindset changed when I jumped in from 16 to 17, but it really, really hit, 17 to 18. Yeah. And then, I would say actually pull it back a bit, maybe late 16, 17, because then I jumped into Australian College of Sport. And, I couldn't do that. There's no way I could do that. I was playing against 30 other men. I needed to be strong. I needed to be eating. I needed to be sleeping. But yeah, no. So late 16, 17, between that bracket, that's when I was like, this is enough. And it was traumatic. It was traumatic the way that I felt, and just everything like that just didn't feel right. And yeah, I took it too far. And but you know what? It was probably needed, because I will never do that again.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
Embrace who you are, what you do every day. So keep being you, man. Fuck all that bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lesson to learn.
Yeah, 100%. But the shitty thing is that there's probably a lot of people that go through that. Hey, shot, brother. Thanks, sir. Yeah, there's probably a lot of people that go through this, like a similar thing, especially when they're unique in the industry. Like you said, you're not this slim, tall, long, copy and paste model that's out there. But that's the reason that you're there,
But exactly, that's kind of what sets you apart. And like, I just wanted to bring that up because, I haven't really shared that with an audience before, what I went through with that. But I think it's an important part of, some of the, if you will, like the setbacks that you go through when you're in part of such an industry like that, such a demanding industry. And it's something that people should, consider if they're willing to get into it, that there will be moments, that you go through, because social media is such an influence on the way that you see yourself, and how others perceive you. So, it's important. It's important. Take care of
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, or just be like Shubz and who gives a fuck what people think. I've literally been like
Yeah.
that all my life. All of my life, I've never given a fuck what people think. When I was number one ranker on TikTok, I didn't give a fuck, and I don't give a fuck now. When I become the number one podcast in the world, I'm not gonna give a fuck either. Have a bit of get a bit of that in your life, fam. Because straight up, a lot of that shit don't exist no more if you don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, you are you. We are all unique as individuals, and you know what I mean. If you accept you and all your forms and whatever you are, and you believe in what you're doing, who gives a fuck what people think, man? Straight up, that's my thoughts anyway.
No, no, no. I agree. I agree to a certain extent, of course, because like my industry is a lot about my image, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
I get what you're
it
saying.
just
Yeah,
one wrong move, one
yeah,
swear word or something. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That's
yeah,
sent in
yeah.
the wrong
Like those
way, and
5 that I
it's
just bought out. Yeah, yeah. But you
you
know
know
what's
what I mean?
crazy though? If you
Like,
look at if you talk about the industry, like look at it's same when we brought up someone that's very, very, I guess, in mainstream media controversial, but like look at Spaniard, he's flourishing, you know what I mean? Just from being his authentic self.
oh,
You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Someone who I really aspire to not to be like, but to sit at the same level of is Joe Rogan, and like he's very controversial. You know what I mean? There's nothing.
Love that
I
guy.
think being happy to be who you are, embracing, and it's not being like putting anyone down either. It's just being embracing who you are and being all good with it, and you know what I mean. Not letting other people, especially if because you can. I feel like you can tell if someone's advice is constructive or if it's just they're just being a fucking hater. You know what I mean? Like I
Oh,
feel like you can always,
100%,
yeah, and it's
100%.
discerning
Because
what
I'm
is
a la
hate from what is.
hater.
Yeah. Discerning what's hate and what is thing. You figure all that stuff out. Because yeah, don't get me wrong. Because then people are like, oh, Shubs doesn't listen to anybody. Yeah, of course I do. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, at the same time, when it comes to people that are speaking from a place when I'm like, you got to just say, why are they saying this? Oh, yeah, because they're doing this in their life and they want to be doing this. Oh, okay, yeah, never mind. Bye bye. And but I'm proud of you too to get because some people might not come back from there. Some people they've probably been in a similar position, or maybe people that are listening to this maybe might have left any of the industries altogether. Like you're still, you're still using your body, your who you are, your name, your image, your likeness to pursue a career. Other people probably have left because of things that you just went through and you just spoke on, or maybe no worse than that ended their life. So I hope people
Yeah.
that are feeling that and listen to this, whether it's this next week when it comes out or years from now, I hope they resonate and then they take up the page out of your book and decide to just embrace who they are.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it can be hard, Like I said,
Mm.
social media has a way of, showing you what you're not. And, on my feed, there was a lot of, you know, 5'11" girls, slim, you know, and I was just
Mm.
consuming that. I wasn't looking at examples of myself. And I'll say I fell victim to my own destruction. But yeah, I'm hoping it kind of resonates with someone a little bit. You know what I mean? It
Yeah, I'm
just
sure, woman. That's a dope story, and like I said, you've come a long way from that to make it through that. What are we now? From 7 years later ish. You know what I mean? 8 years later, whatever it is, seven.
Mm.
Like shining now and heading to the States in less than 2 months for something we can't talk about, but we're gonna find out about in time. It's pretty cool.
You will. I promise you will. When they're ready for it, they'll launch it, and I will post that everywhere.
Yeah, posted everywhere, 100%.
Mhm.
Even so how does the Ninja Warrior thing come about? Like, did you watch it when you're like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, or like, yeah, how does that? I guess the opportunity, but the idea to do it?
Uh, you know what? I'm gonna be frank with you here. When
Yeah,
I was 17,
yeah,
it was on the first season, and
yeah.
I sat back and I was like, I was one of these people. I was like, I could do that. You know what I mean? I
Oh,
could do that. I'm
yeah,
I'm athletic and I'm a boss and I could do that. Man, that's easy. All you could do is like thrust up, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? So I took that And I was like, I'm going to apply for the next season. And when I was 17, I applied for season 2. And you do this whole process. You're right. You do a whole form, then you get a call, and then you do a fitness tryout thing, and then they do one more form or something, and then they pick you. And I ended up being the youngest to ever compete. I was younger than Tarzan, who was the youngest male at the time, by 4 months. We were 4 months apart, so I ended up taking the crown on the youngest. But yeah, it came about because someone challenged me. I'm not sure if it was my siblings or a friend of mine, but they were like, "Oh, you talk so much, you know what I mean? Like, you get on there." And I was like, "Bet." Like, do you know who you're talking to? Like, I'm not taking that. Like, I'm not taking that disrespect. I'll take that challenge. You know what I mean? So my partner at the time and I applied, and I ended up going all the way through. We ended up doing the fitness testing, and out of us two, only I, moved on, and there I ended up, youngest to ever compete, first season. You guys can find that on YouTube. It's TV. So the run that you guys see was actually not the run I was supposed to run on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
So producers
They
pulled
did
me
you like
aside and they
that?
were like, yeah. I kid you not. It was a few hours before I was looking at my course, because you're not allowed to touch it. You're not allowed to go in there and just no touching. You only could look at what potentially was your course. And they're like, okay, course 3, round 3, whatever they called it back then, Tat, this is your one. And I looked at that thing and I was like, this is a wrap. You know what I mean? Because you've been training. I had been training 2 months prior to that, because I honestly, I kid you not, I had no faith in myself in thinking I would be there. I was like, everybody's probably applying, there's probably some other young guns that are better, fitter, or whatever. Anyway, so I had less than 2 months to prep, learn new movements, find new gyms, be a Ninja Warrior, which was a lot at the time. The only thing I'd done was basketball. And yeah, they unfortunately changed my run. So from heat 3 to, I think it was like heat 7 or something, with all the previous Ninja Warriors. So the best of the best. They said, we've never done this course before. We want to see how you go. And I was like, what? I said, no, don't switch me. And there was a back and forth, but I eventually, gave in. It's TV, and when everything,
And you're 18 at the time, right? So
yeah.
so
Like they just wanted to see how well I would do. And I honestly hate watching that YouTube video, because I understand my mistakes and what I did wrong. Because then the second season, I was how old was I then? I just turned 19, a couple months off 19. And I injured myself on set, actually. Which you guys don't see. You don't see my run on YouTube because of, production stuff. I injured myself on set. I rolled my ankle severely to a point that, I had to sign 3 waivers, and they warned me. They said, if you land on this the wrong way, the likelihood of you breaking your ankle is like 100% close to.
so when you say you signed 3 waivers, were the waivers saying that if you got injured like that severe,
they were not liable. They were not liable.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Because the
True.
doctor's looking at it and he's like, what did you do? I said, I just got excited. They called my name and I ran and jumped over a chair and my ankle just gave way. And I was like, I went to get up, like a basketball injury, you roll your ankle, you get back up, keep running.
Yeah.
I went to get back up and I fell to the ground. And I was like, no, this cannot be it. Because at that point in time, after the first season, I was so unsatisfied. I trained for a year. Like, I trained for a year to be there. You know what I mean? And they moved it to Melbourne, and I flown my family there to watch me. Keep in mind, it's 3 a.m. So they've been out there since 6 p.m. And if you know anything about TV, there's a lot of waiting and a lot of cheering and like just unexpected weather. You know what I mean? So they had been out there for hours, 3 a.m. And doctor was like, you're going to break it if you do this wrong. And I was like, I literally said to him, I looked him in the face and I said, I don't care. Break it. I said, my family is out there. I said, y'all have had my family out there since 6 p.m. You said we'd be done by 10. I said, I don't care. Anyway, we ended up, there was a video waiver, 2 paper waivers, and they send me out. But here's the crazy part. They said, no strapping tape. I said, what? I said, you tell me I'm going to break my ankle. They said, no, because it's an advantage. So the one thing about Ninja Warrior was you were never allowed to have tape because it was posed as like an advantage over other contestants.
Ooh.
So
which you already had a disadvantage.
Right.
The hell's that an advantage?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway. So I walked out, no tape, no nothing. I ended up just like double socking, being like, well, this is all I got. I double socked, strapped my laces, I pulled that, and I walked out there, and I actually did better than my first season. It's TV, and so I ended up falling off. I'm not going to give too many details because they may come for me, but it was, I think for me, that season was the biggest eye-opener. It's funny because the course, half the course was actually that I had completed was lower body. So I was required to use my ankle. And the obstacle I fell off was upper body. And that was a surprise to me, if I were to be frank with you. And I think the biggest lesson from that whole run was I didn't understand how strong the mind was until that point in time. That really? Yeah, it was because your doctor is telling me I'm about to break it. And I'm telling this guy, I'm like, I don't give a damn. I'm going to give 120%. And my ankle was, I remember it was hurting when I was up there. But I was like, I'm out here. I've trained for a year. And you know what? But like, we are going to give 120%. Break it. I don't even care at this point. And I had locked into another mindset. And this I can't, it's like another gear that I'd never been before. And everything around me, you have a whole crowd, it just went quiet. And I was just focused on what was at hand. I was like, you know what? We already know the outcome. We already know that my ankle is probably going to be broken. But you know what? Who gives a damn? I'm like, we worked so hard to be here. I'm like, so you're going to give a damn, you're going to give a damn show. You're going to entertain because that's what you do. Yeah. So I fell off, and my brother ended up carrying me from the water all the way to a cab. And that was the end of my run. I think they did a small little interview, which you guys never get to see. But Ninja Warrior taught me a lot. And that was just the beginning of this whole TV thing.
Yeah. For Comet, hey? Comet. So if someone wants to say, what's your biggest takeaway from that whole Ninja Warrior experience? What would you say? Just give it in one simple word.
One simple word. If I would, I think it would be like what I got from that would be the resilience. How do I explain it? In one word, that's very hard. If I do it in a sentence, let's do a sentence.
Okay, let's do a sentence then.
Let's do a sentence, because if I'd give one word, it's like, okay, resilience. You know what I mean? That's what I learned from that.
But sentence?
One sentence, because I like to talk a lot, clearly.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I think there's always another gear. There's always another gear, because I'm a person that's unsatisfied all the time. You know what I mean? Like, so I'll be like, that's amazing. I'm like, it can be done better. And people are like, how do you live like that? And it's like, I just know my version of perfection, and that's not it. Everybody's version of perfection is different. And because I had this high level of expectation for myself, it's not good enough. And sometimes, it does weigh on you, but most of the time I'm like, we can make that slightly better. You know what I mean? There's always another gear. You know what I mean? There's always another level that we can get to. That was good. That's better than like 90% of people. But what about the rest of the people? What about the rest of that 10%? Like, let's get to that level. Okay, we did that. Cool. Last 5%. Cool. Last 2%, 1%. There's always another gear, you know what I mean, that you can put yourself into to get to the next level. But you've got to be willing to take it, like to shift it and take it for what it is. And like I learned that. And yeah, I can't explain it, what happened to me, but I just, you know, if you believe in the spiritual stuff, it's like I just went into another body and I just watched me perform, and I just allowed things to just happen and be exactly how they are. Yeah, it opened my mind a little bit, and I'd shocked myself, if I were to be frank.
Yeah, there's always another gear. I like that one.
Yeah.
There's always another gear. Someone's gonna write a little quote for that someday, and then write your name on it. You know, them cute little quotes that people. Someone's probably gonna get that tattooed. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
There's always
I off the top of my head, I feel like that would describe that experience, you know.
that's it. So when does the opportunity for Gladiator come up?
Yeah, Gladiator was again another another let's find out. You know, that came up last year, so 2023. I'd seen an ad for it on Instagram, and my studio had hit me up, sending it to me on Instagram, being like, you need to apply, you know, this is you. And I was like, oh, like this sounds a bit cheesy, you know, like, are we doing a rerun of this? I'm like, okay. Anyway, because I'm me and I like a challenge, I was like, you know what, fuck it, you know, we're gonna do it. And it's funny because I think myself and another gladiator are the only two glads that weren't picked from internal like mutual connections type of thing.
Oh, true. No,
Like
not what you
everyone
know, who you
else.
know. You're the
Yeah,
only
yeah, yeah.
two.
You know, everyone had known someone from the industry and been like, hey, would you, you know, put yourself forward for this? You know, I was actually the only one who applied like a normal applicant.
Whoa.
So it was myself, and apparently Mikey's probably going to correct me on this, but 284 other people, and including myself, that had
And you
applied,
got
you
the
know, for
dub.
this position. And yeah, I ended up getting the dub, and, you know, I was just unapologetically myself. And I was just like, there is no one that is going to beat me. And I was adamant. I was like, no. And it's funny because when they called me, they said, hi, Tatyanna, you know, we're just going through your application. And, you know, we love the fact that you want to be like a contender, but, you know, what's your thoughts on being a gladiator? And I swear to you, I said, a gladiator. I was like, nah. I said, I want to be a contender because I want to show y'all that the gladiators you pick ain't it, that they are not gladiators. I said, I'm going to come in. Yeah, I said, I'm going to come in and I'm going to ruin who you pick. Do you understand? They said, oh, really? You're not up for it? I was like, no, I'm going to come in as a contender and I'm going to smash whoever you have. Anyway, they said, oh, okay. Right. And I like circled back. I went to coach my kids, and, you know, I was talking to my boss, and he goes, I was telling the story, and he's like, you did what? He's like, email them right now and tell them you will take a gladiator position. He's like, they offered you the top and you declined it. He's like, you declined the top. And I said, I want to prove that the top ain't shit. I'm like, I want to prove that who they pick, who these like 12 best in Australia are, ain't nothing. And he's like, you better turn around and write them back right now. He's like, I stopped my session coaching my kids, and I was like, hi guys, look, I just wanted to let you know that if it's still available, I'm happy to be a gladiator, you know, but my preference is a contender. I just want to prove my point. And, you know, they wrote back and they were like, oh, thank God, you know, we really wanted you to be a gladiator. And, you know, that's kind of just how it panned out. I ended up being Comet, And my briefing was sassy and destructive and fast. And I was like, bet that's easy. That's just me. So yeah, it's the way that I ended up being picked was very unconventional. I actually turned it down and then circled back and was like, well, I kind of changed my mind. Kinda. But yeah.
What's something you learned about yourself in that experience?
You can't win everything. I'm used to winning everything. I'm used to it. Like I said, I do whatever it takes, and
Yep.
I will find a way, to make the no a yes. You know what I mean? And so for me, I think the biggest thing is like, I can't win everything. You got to pick your battles. Pick your battles with production, pick your battles with people. People are the way that they are. Some want to change, some don't. And sometimes you just got to pick those battles. And is it worth your time? Is it, worth the energy? But yeah, it's that. And maybe I'm also used to kind of getting my way. Because I'm like, if I can do whatever it takes to make it my way, I will get my way. And that's what I tell people all the time. I'm like, regardless of what you think or how you go about it, I will get my way one way or another. And like with this production, I had no leeway. I was the second youngest. I wasn't listened to very much. And it was a bit of a like, oh, okay. Oh, Comet's not getting away. All right. Pick my battles, I guess. But yeah, I guess that would be the biggest thing I learned from the experience.
That's a solid takeaway. Hey, Green, I know we gotta get out of here soon, but before we do, I got a couple of quick little questions. Is that okay?
Yeah, babe.
If you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, you eat this meal every single day, what will you choose?
It's a tough ass question. Honestly, probably something basic like T-bone steak and like veggies or something, but like specific veggies, you know what I mean? I don't know. A T-bone steak, I can't live without a T-bone steak.
What do you have on that? Any sauce or anything?
Oh yeah, babe. What the hell? We're South American. You can you can get something from chimichurri on there to like barbecue sauce from fucking all the way from the States, whatever.
Jimmy Neutron. What did you just say?
Chimichurri.
Oh, chimichurri. Oh, okay. Holy. I was like, what was that? Okay.
No, yeah, chimichurri is like a South American like dressing on meat, which we use majority of the time. But yeah, no,
are you going that, or what are you choosing on top of your T-bone?
Yeah, we'll go chimichurri. We'll change it up.
All right,
for the rest of my life.
solid.
Yeah, I can live with that.
The rest of your life. All right, superpower wise, besides the superpowers you already have, which one do you choose? And maybe if you could create one, because you are a creative. And why? And why do you choose the superpower that you either create or choose?
I've always been obsessed with being able to stop time, but it's a terrible power to have. It's a terrible power to have. I think if I had to pick one,
why is it terrible?
because if you alter time, you alter your reality, right? So if you play with it, then things change, and that's why it's not good, because then you become obsessed with the idea of power, because now you have this power that can change your reality. And for me, I've never wanted to change anything. If someone's like, if you could change one thing in your life, what would it be? And my response every time is nothing. Because if you change anything, you change your experiences, you change the person you are. You change everything you've been through to get to where you're at. You know what I mean?
It's like that Click movie. You seen Click? The Click movie, Adam Sandler, is like how he fast forwards when his wife speaks too much and then it becomes programmed into the remote to just do that automatically. Then he realizes, then they end up leaving him because he doesn't pay them attention and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
exactly. Or a most recent one, if you're like into DC, Flash, you know what I mean? You watch that and the movie, and he's like, I don't want my dad to die, and it's like, you've got to let him die, because if you don't, you ruin everyone else's reality. You create different realities in the multiverse, and you basically mess everything up.
Are you a multiverse believer?
Oh, look, I definitely believe.
Possibly?
Yeah.
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 I believe in there's a
There's
possibility,
no way
man,
there's
that
just
we've lived.
one.
Yeah, I definitely believe. I don't know, like a multiverse, but I definitely believe like we've lived before. Like I feel like we have experiences, or we connect with people that you just like we click too much to just have met each other, or you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
don't know.
Like there's got to be an like.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like
Anyway,
there's got
that's
to
a whole
be
other.
other worlds and or like other lifetimes for sure. That's what I feel like. Anyway,
Yeah. I definitely believe in the multiverse.
so your actual
Easily.
power you choose is
I would actually pick probably speed.
yeah.
Speed. Yeah, because if I wanted to, I can turn back time, but it's a choice I make. But it's also the fact that with speed, I can alter the reality, but only slightly. Does that make sense? So it's like, okay, this person's about to get hit by a car. I can just move them just a little push and see the result of that. I don't know. I mean,
But
I'm changing
what if them
reality,
getting hit
but
by a car stopped like another? Maybe that guy goes down the road and hits like 10 people and kills 10. I don't know. You know, I'm just talking with that same
but I can always
mindset that
just
you
like, I can run and view what would happen and just bring it back. I honestly, another thing I would probably want to like, if like if I got curious enough, you know what I mean? But it's I don't know. I have this thing with speed. I love going fast, and like I'm always told to go slow. Sometimes being slower is good. And I agree. But
Sometimes.
another one, yeah, sometimes. You know what I mean?
Not all the time.
No, I think another one would probably, if I had to pick one, would probably be able to like read minds. Telekinesis.
You want to read minds?
Yeah, I don't ask me why. I've always just been so like,
Well, I'm gonna ask
if,
why. Because I don't want to know what people think whatsoever.
Like if I could,
but that's
if
me.
I could,
You want to know?
if I could see, and like if I could hear what they were thinking, maybe I could stop something from bad from happening. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I have a savior complex. So anyone that knows me knows I want to help, protect, and just fix it. I'm a fixer. So if there's a problem, I'm fixing it. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what it is. I'm going to try my best to fix it. And yeah, I don't know. It's all the odd powers. I don't know.
No, they're cool. They're cool. I like it.
If I had to create one, you'd stump me. I have no idea. No idea.
No creating. But so what are we going to narrow one down, or are we going for 14?
Hey. I'd love to have 14. That would make me a superhuman.
Yeah, it would be. So which one? So which one do you want? You want to read minds? You want speed? You want?
Look, I'll stick with speed for now. I know it's,
speed.
It's a cheesy ass one, but
but
I need to think about that one.
Properly. I like how you said speed, but not just thinking of doing things fast, but also having the ability to like go forward and go backwards. So I like that.
If I wanted to, I mean,
if you wanted to.
If I wanted to see what the world would turn into, I can always go forward and bring it back to where I was. I don't know. I think it's, we have this this desire to want to know what's next all the time. And like that's probably what it is. It's like the lack of knowing is kind of what eats at me sometimes. So I don't know. Odd power, I know. Everyone would be like, no, I don't want to. I want to be juiced up and blah blah blah. I'm like,
nah. Hey, that's your power anyway. Let's give us got any advice for people that running through life and they have a lot of the same opportunities you do, like in your industry? What would you say?
There's a few things I would say. I think if I had to just keep them in short is be unapologetically yourself and don't ever turn that down. Another one would be like, you can have everything you want, just not all at the same time. Probably a last one would be nothing is ever too big as long as you think you can. It always starts with, I can. It's never I can't. And, I explain in some of my videos, I'm like, no one in history ever started with I can't. it's always I started with I can. And Martin Luther King or Malcolm X is a prime example of that, in my opinion. You know, I don't think there's anything too big, in my opinion. You can have whatever you want if you really believe it and you're willing to put in the work. But it has to start. It has to start with I can. You can't sit there and pray and hope and dream. You know what I mean? Dream, but you got to put in the work. You know what
I mean, everything starts with
you
a
can
dream,
have it.
right? But
Yeah,
if you
100%.
but if you don't put in the work, you're still fucking asleep. So I got you. I get
Exactly.
You're still
Exactly.
sleeping.
So yeah, I think those are the three that I would. Three pieces of advice I would give to people. They are things that I've learned along the way, and they were hard lessons, especially the second one. You know, you can have everything, just not all at the same time. Because I do a lot of stuff. Anyone that knows me, like I do a lot of stuff, and it's just the fact that your attention is pulled in several different ways that you cannot honestly be great at something when you're not focused on it. You know what I mean? Like you're 20% great here, 20% great there, 20% great here and there and there. You know what I mean? It's not possible. And I hate saying that, but if you want to be great at something, you've got to really give your all for that moment. That doesn't mean that the rest is gone. It's just, it's on pause. That's it.
That's it. Yeah. Hey, last one. Visualization. 10 years from now, where do you see yourself? Tatyanna Dumas, where do you see yourself in 10 years? What would you like life to be like in 10 years?
So 10 years, I've actually given myself a 10-year plan from the moment that I leave in about a month or two. So
on the things that you do. Like,
without giving too much, I will be a main card on the world stage. I will have done already a Marvel film, and I will have over 7+ passive incomes. I will have bought my mom a house. Yeah, I will have bought my mom a house, the house she's always wanted. That's actually the first thing on my list. You know, she deserves that. She deserves the world. If I could give her the world, I would. You know, it's in progress.
when you can. Yeah.
When 100%, I will do everything in my power to make sure that my mom gets everything she deserves. Buy my mom a house. I will be looking to have probably my first lot of kids.
You're the kids.
And I will have, not too many, but a few. I would like to have over 10+ properties in real estate. So focus on that and run my own gym, and whether it be a center or whatever it might be, and of course give back to basketball. And that's an incoming, like an ongoing process, in my opinion. Giving back to basketball, it'll always be there. It'll always be there for me. Yeah, and I think I'll hit it, but just not sure of what direction just yet. I want to own a WNBA team too, so you know what, if that comes up at some point, we're gonna own one.
You and me both. Let's go. Get it.
Yeah, I want one. Or at least be an investor in it. So to give a bit of a short rundown on where we're going, we're taking over. I need to build my empire for my kids, and I need to change the way that my bloodline has come up. We haven't done much. And
was that like a hint there? My bloodline? No.
Kinda.
Hey, no, well, I look forward to seeing all of that come to fruition. I just want to thank you too. Time's the most valuable commodity we have as human beings. The one thing we can never get back. We can always get back money, things, but time spent is time lost. So thank you for sharing over an hour of your time with myself and anybody that listens to this for years to come. I really, really appreciate it, and I'm truly grateful. And I hope it's not the last time we sit down, and maybe one day in the flesh, whether it's in the United States or somewhere in Australia or somewhere around the world, maybe we can have a T-bone steak with a bit of that stuff on top.
100%. Look, yes, you are right. Time is precious. Time is valuable. So I appreciate yours as well, and thank you so much for having me. I've had fun, and that's a great start to my gym session. So I appreciate it. I appreciate
get that
it.
pump, sis. Get that pump. Thank you so much for watching this full episode of Mind the Mic. It takes a lot of time, energy, and effort to create these episodes. So to know that you've watched and listened to the entire thing means the world to myself and all our hosts. If you could, before you leave, please hit the subscribe button and share this episode out to as many people as possible. It would help us so much. Thank you again to everybody that's still here, still watching. Thank you for all your comments, all your shares, all the DMs. Appreciate you all. Make sure you follow us on every platform. Have an awesome morning. Have an awesome night, depending on where you are in the world. Mind the mic out.
Oi, have you hit the link in bio yet?
Watch full episodes on YouTube or listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all streaming platforms.